Welcome back to the Cougars Den. I'm Joe Higgins. Joining me is Sprint Football's new head coach, Louie Matsakis. Coach, thank you for joining me.
No problem. Enjoy it.
Now, Coach, take me through the hiring process and what brought you to Caldwell University.
Well, I saw that Coach Kelly retired, heard from a couple of different people. So I kind of researched the school. I've always recruited New Jersey. So I always knew, the importance of football at the high school level, youth football level. I mean, especially North Jersey is huge. Then, obviously I just applied for the job. Coach Carino called me, talked to me for a little bit on the phone, said, hey, I'd like to bring you out. Kind of came out on campus, toured it, everything probably more than I imagined it would be. It was awesome. Then on my way home, got the call, and that's where he asked me if I wanted to be a Cougar.
And now I know Sprint Football has a long, rich history. Did you know what Sprint Football was before getting the job or anything about Sprint Football?
I actually did. I've known, obviously it's been around forever. And back in like the 30s, there were tons of Sprint football teams. You have Michigan, Rutgers, and obviously all the Ivies, the academies, a bunch of different programs had Sprint. And it was just a way for that undersized high school football player that wanted to continue playing to be able to do that, give them the opportunity. So I've always heard about it. I was lucky enough, actually, one of my co-workers at the University of Kansas used to be the head sprint coach at Cornell. So I got to talk to him a little bit about the job, about the league. So there was, some knowledge about it heading into it.
And you've coached under some great coaches, Mark Stoops, the great late Mike Leach, Charlie Weiss. What are some things that you're going to take that you've taken from them?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Coach Leach was the greatest person I've ever met. I mean, he was awesome. And at every facet, talking to, human, just walking down the street, seeing a guy on the street corner who walk up and talk to him. And he was also a brilliant offensive mind. His offenses, and still to this day, some of his disciples, so to speak, they still lead the country in offense, in passing. And so, I learned how to manage offense, how to, utilize your players and get guys in space to have success from him. And then, Coach Stoops, just really him. He's a Youngstown guy, Western PA, Northeast Ohio, and he was true to himself. The one thing I learned from him was you're not Nick Saban, you're not Bill Snyder. He's Mark Stoops. So he's going to be who he is. And just be true to you. Don't try to pretend to be anybody you're not or anything like that. And you'll have success. You'll get buy-in. And then other coaches, Mark Mangino, he was awesome back in the 07, 08. University of Kansas won 20 games in 2 years, won the Orange Bowl. He was another guy where I really learned why discipline's important in a football team. Why, you need to show up 5 minutes early for meetings, why you need to attend class. You need to attend, and the importance of it, because we were undersized. We weren't the biggest, the best in the Big 12, but because of our discipline, we were able to overcome some of those things and win.
And you talk about that discipline and stuff. Is that the kind of culture you're looking to build here?
Yeah. I mean, me personally, grew up in Eastern Ohio. Honestly, my hometown, if you didn't work in the coal mines, you were a teacher. That's kind of the mentality. I mean, they were all blue collar, hardworking people. My father was a high school coach, teacher, 50 plus years. All my brothers, in athletics. And you have to be that hard worker. You have to have that disciplined mentality to have success. That's how I was grown up. That's how, college. That's how we were at Emporia State and every school I've been. And you look nationally at all levels of success. Alabama, Georgia, extremely disciplined. Mount Union, extremely disciplined. Whitewater, extremely disciplined. Northwest Missouri State back in the day with Coach Churchma, very disciplined. The teams that consistently win are the ones that have that discipline, and that's huge.
And now with a lot of returning players coming back, how's it been meeting them, and what kind of relationship have you begun to establish with them?
Yeah, honestly, that's been the funnest thing I've done so far.
Yeah.
I got to meet, and the first thing I did is really this week. I just finished it probably about 30 minutes ago. I met with every single kid that's on the team, 15, 20 minutes, find out who they are, where they're from, what position they're playing, all that. I met some or I found out some really interesting thing. One of my players is a chef. I didn't know that. Went to culinary school. Like, I was like, that's awesome. And he does like Middle Eastern, Asian fusion cuisine. I was like, that's kind of cool. Got a guy in the Navy, guy in the Marines, like teachers, nurse. Like, just knowing where they're from. One kid has 8 brothers and sisters. Like, you just kind of just know who they are. And I want to be that coach. I don't like the term players coach, but I want to be like that guy where they're at dining hall, grabbing a bite to eat. They got time before class. They'll walk over here, go upstairs, sit down. Hey, let's talk. They have an issue. They're going to come to me, and I want to be there for them as well, because they are away from them. And that's, big change for a lot of these players.
And I know you just got here, but what do you think your recruiting process is going to look like, and what kind of players are you looking to bring in here?
Yeah. So I think the important thing right now is let's take care of our own borders. About 70-mile circle around Caldwell, New Jersey, North Jersey. We're going to find those guys, 180 pounds or less, from winning programs that do the things on the field and off. They got to be good citizens. They got to have really good academics, all those things, so they can fit into the culture of Caldwell. Then from that, obviously, is my connections. I grew up, I got friends in Eastern Ohio. There's tons of sprint football type players there. There's nowhere for them to go. Down in Florida, Texas, Georgia, everywhere that I've either recruited or have friends that are coaching high school football, that now we're a viable option for some of those kids that are just a little short, just a little underweight, but they're balling. And that's what we're here for.
The team's coming off a 2-4 season, but the years before they had back-to-back 5-2 seasons. What are you looking to build off from those 3 years?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, Coach Kelly did a great job of laying the foundation. I know the first 2 years of existence was let's get people on campus. Then Coach Kelly tried to bring in players, that could contribute, make a difference. And they were close. So there's a couple of years, the ball bounces a different way. You're playing in the championship game, and we're close. I just want to build upon what was laid down before me and now try to take it to that next level. Try to instill that discipline, and still play fundamentally sound football, exciting brand of football to get people to come to games. And then hopefully if it all works out, we're winning some football games and then eventually bringing a championship, bringing, that banner in the gym, ring on the finger kind of mentality.
And your background has mostly been special teams and running backs coach. How do you think you're going to adapt to running an overall team now? Yeah, a lot of things, and a lot of people don't really realize, but as a special teams coordinator, especially at the Division I level, you're a pseudo head football coach. You look at the Baltimore Ravens. Coach Harbaugh, he was a special teams coordinator, became the head coach. You look at Bill Cowher, special teams guy. There are guys that have done it and became head coaches, because what's unique about being that special teams guy, you're the only guy other than the head coach that deals with offensive players and defensive players. You got to motivate the whole team, and you're dealing with the in-game analytics a lot of times. When to go for it, when to kick onside kicks, when to fake, when to which way you're taking the ball. Are we going to defer? Are we going to take the ball? Are we kicking into the wind? Like all those things that a lot of people assume head coaches do. 90% of schools, especially at the Division I level, that's their special teams guy. They're the ones that all week are analyzing that data and trying to figure everything out. My biggest thing now is worrying about the defense. Yeah. I never had to really deal with, as an offensive guy, you deal with the offense. Special teams guy, deal with special teams. Now, it's on my shoulders. All 3 phases of the game, I'm ultimately going to be responsible for. It's a little early to tell, but what should our expectations be for your first season next year?
I would say, as a fan of the program or people that watch our games online, anything, I just hope they see a football team that is, one, well-conditioned, play fast, gang tackle on defense, make explosive plays, but more importantly, be a smart team on the field and give 100% effort. We do those things, the scoreboard will take care of itself, wins will take care of itself, and everyone will end up being happy. And I think those are the biggest things for me, is that blue-collar, tough, physical mentality explosive offense, big play kicking game to ultimately, hopefully, big wins.
Coach, thank you for joining me. That's all the time we have for Inside the Cougars Den. Thank you for watching.